Well, hi everyone. Welcome to the New England Racing Show. After a couple of week hiatus with Election Day and Veterans Day, we have our co-host here, Mike Douglas Jr., and we'll have him on a lot this winter because we don't have that much tape to show. So we'll do some shop talk, and with Mike, it's modified talk. So we're on Channel 23, Manchester, New Hampshire, also on YouTube, and like us on Facebook, you'll get the show automatically. So we understand that Star is not running the modifieds next year. Mike ran there a couple of times this year, but the year before, I guess you raced a lot.
Yeah. Yes.
So what are your plans for next year?
We plan on hitting up open shows. There's kind of rumblings now of a open show at Monadnock. I don't know how many laps it's going to be, what the rules are going to be, but anytime where you can have the caliber of drivers that go to an open show and a nice, fast, tight bull ring like Monadnock, it's bound to be a great show. The thing that kind of sparked my interest was there's races at Mahoning Valley in Pennsylvania as far as open shows. I've never been there. I've seen it on YouTube, the racetrack, and it looks like you're racing in a parking lot. It's nothing but a big circle. From what I've been told, it makes Seekonk look like Daytona as far as how big it is.
Is it flat or banked?
Yeah, it's flat. It's flat. I mean, but it looks like a really challenging track. And anytime where I can go to a track where I've never raced at and race against, their local talent and something like that, it helps me get better.
Weren't you going to go to was it Caraway?
We were going to go to Caraway. Just nothing. It didn't work out. Maybe next year we'll see how it goes. We're really going to try to branch out a little bit more with the not racing as much, but hitting up the open shows and the bigger money shows. Dad says it's kind of going back to like what the outlaw guys used to do. One night they'll be here and the other week they'll be there, and so we're going to try that and see how it shakes out for us.
Well, before the modified tour in '85, that's what it was like. I mean, they'd race at New Egypt, Richie Evans and those guys, and then it was like 4 or 5 nights a week they'd be racing.
I don't know if we'll race 4 or 5 nights a week. But
Nobody can afford to do that
no,
anymore.
not anymore. No.
Not with the price of tire.
No.
It's funny, your pit crew member, Cynthia, put up some things on Facebook, 1983 from Star. Did you see that? All the pictures?
Oh, yeah.
And you look at the tires, M&H, McCreary,
Yeah.
Goodyear.
Hoosier, Firestone, I think, was still in it at one point. I mean, even if you look at that, if you look at everything in 10-year increments, as far the way as the cars look, it's amazing how far cars come in 10 years. If you look at a car from 1983 and a car from 1993, they look like two totally different, race cars. It's just technology keeps pushing this deal, and
I don't realize it till I remember, back in '83 we were working at Star, and those cars were just like state of the art. Now I'm looking at them.
who put this together?
There were some nice looking ones. Doug Hevron's car was beautiful, and Mike Ordway's orange number 10 were two that really stood out. I mean, a lot of them were nice. Batchelder's car and Howie Brown always had a decent car. But just it's funny looking at those. So if you're on Facebook, check out Cynthia's 1983 at Star, and then she had another one up there.
Oh, she's always got old racing photos and things like that.
Yeah.
If you ever want to pick somebody's brain about local New England racing, back in the late 70s, early 80s, even as far up as you can think, she'd be the one to talk to. Very very intelligent, has a lot of photos and things like that.
It makes me wish that I had taken a lot more pictures back then to keep the history going. But the old supers are really interesting. So you're going to do a lot of open shows, and
we're gonna try. Like I said, we're gonna try to hit up more open shows. Want to start hitting up, MRS shows as well. maybe try out some ROC. We'll see what happens.
Racing Champions.
Yeah, it's been a lifelong dream for me to race at Oswego Speedway out in New York. My dad ran there a lot of years.
Yep.
That's just always been kind of like something like the bucket list, I guess you could
Well,
say.
back then, on Saturday was the modified
The Bud
show.
Mod 200, yep.
Yeah, and now it's a Race of Champions
Yeah,
show.
I don't know if it's 75 or 125, but I now that I think about it, start leaning towards 75.
Laps.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know at the end of the year they have a Race of Champions weekend where it's modifieds. I think it might be some kind of street stock, something like that, late model, and they make a weekend out of it.
Possibly the midgets too,
I don't know.
and the V6 not V6, but I mean small block supers that they run.
Oh
out there.
yes, the SBS series.
Yeah, that's different than the ones we run. The ones we run are actually old supers. Our car's an old Oswego super. The ones they run, the engine's like on the right
It's like
side.
it's like more like an IMCA modified with a super body on it. If you go to OswegoSpeedway.com, if you're wondering what these cars look like, you'll be able to check them out. Or you can just Google SBS super modified and it should pop up for you.
Yeah. So you'll be racing ROC. Well, what do you think's the future of the Valente mods? I know they were going to split up, but I understand that's probably not going to happen. They're
No, I think it's like anything else. Every series has its growing pains. You're not going to please everybody. Just kind of, I see the series will still be around. I feel because it has too big of a following. Especially it seems like it's really, really taking off in Connecticut. Actually, I think it seems like there's more Connecticut races than there are, tracks up here. I'll run a couple of races. I'll probably hit up the Monadnocks, the Lees.
Yep.
I'd really like to see Beech Ridge and Oxford come back. Those were fun tracks. Places like Twin State. I don't know if what
that
Twin
was just
State's
sold
doing.
a few weeks ago.
So I mean, we'll just see what happens. We'll have to wait till the schedule came out. I know they had a meeting at the Stafford down in the Stafford area. Seems like it went well. Couple of rule changes from what I heard. Curved rear fuel cell bars in the rear. Then there's the double bars on the headrest side of the roll cage. So any rule that's made for making the cars safer and safe for everybody else, I'm all for. But the Valente series will be around for a while.
Good. I like that series. Now, I talked to my kid, and I'm like, why can't the SK mods that race at Waterford race with Valente? Is it something about the engines?
I suppose if they really could, they wanted to. Actually, I think a couple of them have just put on the tires.
Oh.
It depends a lot on the exhaust because they have a thing called tri-Y headers.
Yep.
Versus where we just have to basically run the header to a muffler to a dump, where those guys can run a header, a tri-Y, a muffler, or however you're going to put it. But I mean, I've raced against guys that have taken off their SK tires, put on the modified racing series tires at Waterford, and gone out and raced with us.
What's the difference in tires?
I don't know the actual difference. It could be the compound.
But they're both Hoosiers, right?
They're both, they are both Hoosier.
Okay. Our friend of ours, Matt Galco.
Yeah, I know Matty.
Yeah, he
Good kid.
ran quarter midgets with us, and he raced Valente a few times.
Yeah, actually, we parked next to him a couple times there at the Tri-Track series.
Yeah.
Kid did a whale of a job getting in the Seekonk show.
Yeah.
Boy, I got to tell you, that looks like something you'd practice in a video game because he pulled it off and
Well,
held
he's been
on.
racing since he was 6
Yeah.
years old. Another quarter midget kid.
Yeah, here you go.
By the time they're 23, they've been racing for 17 years. So it's pretty tough to beat those kids. And they step right up. They go from quarter midgets to maybe legends or midgets, and then right up to modifieds.
It's funny. I said that a couple of maybe a week or so ago on my Facebook. I was looking down through the rosters of guys, on the ROC,
Yeah.
Wheeling and so on. And it's like, wow, how did I become an older driver here? It's it seems like kids are getting modifieds for their graduating high school. And of course, Matty Swanson had to
I was
speak
just
up.
going to say that name.
'Cause,
Yeah.
I think he just learned how to color inside the lines here a couple weeks ago. He's a good kid. He's going to be.
Doesn't have his license yet.
No,
does he?
I got to tell you, that kid,
15?
he's going to be the kid to watch coming out of New England, I think.
Yeah.
He, you talk to him, he's got a good head on his shoulders, comes from a great family. The kid's just, the sky's the limit for this kid.
Well, just to name a few quarter midget kids, we got Tommy Barrett,
Yeah, he's well on his way.
Stevie Massey,
Massey's another good shoe. Very good.
Max Zachem,
Zakum's very good.
Galco. Then you go down to Waterford, and you've got Tyler Chadwick.
Geez, you're naming off a heat race here pretty soon.
And they're all like 25.
Yeah, they're all
And
young
under-
kids.
And oh God, the kid. I'll think of his name. He just started on the tour. He was racing pass and everything, but
Derek Ranstrom?
yes, Derek. Yeah.
I've only run with him a couple of times. He seems like he's pretty good too.
Out of quarter midgets, I'd say Derek was the smoothest kid, other than Bobby Santos.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, the smoothest kid. We ran with him for about 7 or 8 years at Little T, and I'm not exaggerating, but I've never seen him make a dirty move, what you would consider a dirty move.
That's good. That's
And then he goes to Thompson and runs a super late model, and he's beating all these older guys without touching them. He's passing them. So they didn't like that, so they start roughing him up. And now he's learned, you got to give it back,
oh yeah.
when you race against these older guys, because that's what they like to do, and especially in the Fender cars.
Yeah, I don't know how I'd fare in one of those.
Now, how is it in the modifieds? Because I look and they have behind the wheels and in front of the wheels, it's, they're open wheel cars, but they have bars everywhere.
In the rule book, it says that the bumpers or the Nerf bars can't stick out.
Past the outside of the wheels?
Well,
Yeah.
you can. I think it's either an inch or 2 inches or anything. For a while there, the mods were getting real rough, and what I had always said, be like the big block supers, make it one bar and push it, push them in, 3 inches. That'll take care of the rubbing problem.
Yeah.
You don't see super guys leaning on each other like that.
No, you can't be doing that.
No.
But the mods, you look behind the tire, they have the bars that come out. I guess the only place they don't have the bars is on the front wheels.
Yeah. Pretty soon it's keep putting bars on them. It's going to be like the go-karts at Salisbury Beach where they get the big steel girder right around. You just go in and lean on someone,
Yeah, spin them out going into the corner, like they did to Mike Stefanik down at Daytona. Are they going to race there this year?
I have no clue.
February?
No clue. I've heard personally, with people I've known that have raced there, you either liked it or you hated it. There was no middle ground. I never ran there, but from what I can see on TV is, how do you pass on something like that? It was.
It's just a makeshift track,
it was.
really. It's
it
not
was,
a regular track.
like I said before, you'd be better off, running the cars on an airport strip.
Yeah.
That's basically all it was.
How about New Smyrna?
I've never run there, but that's a very fast place.
Yeah, it's a half mile, I believe, right?
Yes. If you can, and I guess there's an old Richie Evans saying that if you can win at New Smyrna, you can win it anywhere. So,
Oh, good.
kind of sounds like a little, bigger Star Speedway.
I'd say Wall, too, is another place. If you can win there, or Bowman Gray.
I don't know. Well, Bowman Gray.
Maybe you should go down there.
Nah, I'd have to get a wrestling belt and the tights and everything and a
Well,
mask.
who went down there? And Ryan Priest went down there. Didn't he win?
I don't know if Priest.
I know he went down there.
I know there's been a couple of guys that have gone down there. I believe Blewett went down when he was running for Hillbilly Racing.
Yeah.
Ran a weekly show. I know Andy Seiss has been there.
Yeah, well, he races a Southern Tour anyway.
I think he might have even run a weekly show there. Not positive.
Yeah.
But there's been a couple of guys that go, from the north to, down there and try their hand at that. But I think that's more, entertainment than it is racing.
Well, that's another thing. Oh, Ryan. By the way, Ryan Priest is another quarter midget kid.
Actually, he showed the New England guys, that we can race up here at the Nationwide Series down at Homestead this past weekend. Did a good job. I believe he brought it home 28th. Anytime you can do that at a track you've never been to, that's kudos to
Well, you
him.
put these kids in a decent car, and they'll finish right up there. Him and Santos. Bobby raced out in California.
Well, even
in
when
the
Santos
Nationwide.
ran for with Jack Roush there for a little bit, he was really turning up the wick, and I don't know what happened, but
He belongs in a cup car, as far as I'm concerned. You get all these retreads in there. Look at the back 10 cars of a cup race.
yeah.
I'm like, Bobby Santos belongs here.
Oh yeah, it's it's.
You could take a lot of people from the Northeast.
Oh yeah,
and
I mean,
organize
from what I learned, a new saying. It's basically recycled drivers.
that. Yeah.
The guy in the 27 is going to go to the 4, and the guy in the 4 is going to go over the 56.
I can't keep track.
No.
But you look at the running order, they'll show the last 10 cars. I'm like, who are these people? I've
Yeah.
never even heard of them. Just rich kids that bought their way into the...
Well, that's what K&N stands for, Kids and Nephew Series.
Yeah, that's too bad. I liked it the way it was when it was
Bush North.
Bush North. And I remember when Tom Curley ran that series back in the early 80s. And I don't know what happened, but they changed it. And now he's got a nice series there, the ACT.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought someday maybe we'll run that. But
Well, I got to tell you, the ACT and PASS kind of, I don't know if they kissed and made up, but I guess they're going to be running a couple of shows together.
double headers,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, that's great that two sanctioning bodies that were kind of butting heads with each other, can work together for the good of racing. And I think there's, a lot of, other sanctioning bodies and tracks that could, learn from,
Like
from,
Star and Lee.
Hey, you said it.
Good luck with that one.
Yeah,
That's been going on
forever.
forever, really. Unfortunately, if they could work together, we could have such a great racing up here. But it is what it is.
got it.
But Beach Ridge would it be a good track? Why aren't they
Oh.
racing up there? The modifieds.
From what I've heard, they used to run, tour type modifieds there back in the late '80s and early '90s.
Yep.
I don't know if there was some kind of accident up there, but after the accident, I don't know if it was a driver, crew, fan, whatever. I guess someone got really hurt or something like that. Don't mark my words.
Yep.
But after that, done.
Really?
But that's a fun little place to run modifieds.
We love it there. We went there with a midget, and what's nice is somebody blew an engine on the last lap, and 7 cars behind them went through the oil. They all went spinning off the end of the backstretch, turn 3. No wall there, all just gravel.
Yep.
And they all spun out, and they all pushed off.
You can't beat it.
The race was over, but I mean, they all pushed off.
Yeah, you weren't taking your right front out of your air cleaner.
Oh my God! I mean, you do that at some of these tracks with a concrete like Thompson or Lee, and it's $5,000.
Oh, yeah,
and
anyway.
maybe a ride to the hospital. But my son Jake says I was spinning around. He says I thought I was going to flip over, but I just kept spinning, and all these cars kept coming at me. They were spinning.
Well, hey, as long as you don't get bopped on, I guess.
Yeah,
it's all
nobody hit, so it was a great, and they got awesome pits. I mean, just a huge area. It's dirt, but you walk around there, and I don't know what kind of dirt it is, but there's no rocks or anything.
Yeah, they water that quite a bit too.
Is that
so,
right?
Yeah, it's not.
Well, you
bad.
go to Waterford, and it's like you park in the back, and it's huge rocks, and they'll rip your belly pan off and
Oh,
everything.
yeah.
So I love Beach Ridge, and our midget series will be running up there this year.
Good.
At least one time with
Excellent.
the pass tour. So anyway, the modifieds at Stafford, SK,
Mhm.
do they run the same rules as Waterford?
As far as any SK mod goes,
Yeah.
I have zero inkling on what they run. All I know is that they can run, 2-barrel carburetors, and they're a little, they're I guess, limited as far as horsepower goes. I don't know anything about them, to be honest.
What do you run for carburetor on your engine?
A Tour Legal, well, they call it a Tour Legal 390, carburetor. Just basically order out of the book and get it sent out. And
Oh, you can't send it out and
you
spend
know,
$2,000?
oh no, you can send it out. I'm not, but hey,
I'm sure everyone does.
oh, everybody, if you're not doing it, then you're you're in the B main or you're way in the back.
And when you're done with that, what does it flow?
That's,
Not yours. I mean,
that's highly
theoretically.
that's highly specified.
500,
That's
600?
That's pure speculation.
Okay.
We'll leave it at that.
Because that's what I hear. Like, you send it out and they machine it.
Yeah.
So the go, no-go still doesn't fit through, but it flows, 500, 600.
It's all trickery.
Cool. So why do they make you run a 390?
To be honest, I don't know. When we started, it was in the rules. We never questioned it.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe some of the older.
Because you think
people
an
that have been
engine
around
like
for a
that
while.
should run like an 850 Holly or something.
I gotta tell you, if they let us go as far as no carburetor restriction, just a regular 4-barrel, these motors would make well over 800 horsepower.
What do they make now, 600?
Yeah, the median high part is anywhere from 590 to 610. That seems like it's about the average, or excuse me, above average. I guess just one way, keeping the speeds down, keep a little bit safer.
Are costs getting out of control in what you run?
I mean, it's like anything else. How fast do you want to go? How much do you want to spend?
Yeah.
I've seen guys with cars that are 15 years old wipe the floor with people that have cars that are 2 races old. It's
Engine-wise, though.
I mean, engine, car, a lot of it comes down to setup. I don't care what class you run in, whether you run, a mini stock or you run a,
Yeah.
big
Well,
block
just
super.
like our midget,
Yeah, it's all comes down to setup and how smart you are with it.
It's funny because in our NEMA light car, PJ won 4 races this year, the winningest driver, and of course we're the big cheaters,
Of
according
course.
to everybody. So they decided to do compression check the stroke, check the cubic inch, put a camera inside, check your intake ports, check your exhaust ports, and they checked everything on our engine. And when they were done, the tech guy, Mike Chambers, shook our hand. He said, "You are the stockest engine out of all the people we've checked in NEMA Light."
You don't need a lot of horsepower.
So I'm telling everyone now that accuses you of cheating that you are the stockest engine, and they need to step it up.
Exactly.
That's what it was. It was all set up and driver.
That's what you need. You can have all the money you want, be in the best equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Danica
So-
Patrick.
Is there a lot? Say you got 590 horse, someone else has 640. Does that make a difference on a track like Monadnock or Seekonk?
A lot of it depends, on the way it's geared, and stuff like that. I mean, if you got, power is nothing without control. If you can't,
Spinning your tires.
yeah, I mean, then you're just, when you're spinning your tires like that, coming off of corners, you're just making yourself, to me, you're making yourself slower in a faster amount of time.
Does anyone run traction control?
I have no clue. I'm sure there's probably people that have. I know people that have tried it.
Yeah.
And they said they don't see what the big deal is.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Because I read where there's a little wireless unit people will have a hole cut in there.
No, yeah, I've heard
And-
you can
and
tuck
when
it in
the
your
end-
fire
When the
suit.
race is over, they stick it out there.
That seems like a lot. That seems like people that just don't want to do their homework at the garage.
Yeah.
But
So I know that when we were practicing at Seekonk, there was a tour car next to us. And they said the best thing at Seekonk, you got to detune your engine
yes,
to run there.
I've
Did you do that in the open show?
no, actually we didn't. You can kind of play around, a little bit with timing. The biggest thing that I've heard that guys do is on a 4-barrel carburetor, they'll actually take they'll take the secondaries
Yep.
off of the
Oh, really?
carburetor.
So they're just running the
so they're
plug
just
too?
so you're basically just running a 2-barrel carburetor.
Oh, wow.
We've never done anything like that, but
Well, you'd have to practice a lot down there to be able to do that and get it just right.
yeah, it's it's like anything else.
How about at Star?
Oh, Star, you let it all go.
It's a horsepower
Oh
track?
yeah, you let it all go.
Yeah.
Go through the corner. I mean, the thing is, you got to get through the corners there, and the straightaways take care of themselves.
Yeah.
If you're going to be fast in, middle, and off, then your straightaways will be fine.
I know, not this year, but in last year, my son and I stood in the first corner at the SBM race, and we couldn't hear for 2 weeks after that.
Yeah, you're you think about it, you look at it, quarter-mile track, it's like, you guys really aren't going that fast. Stand next to the fence, or especially in the infield. You stand in the infield at a race, especially a short track race, gives you a totally different outlook on how guys drive and how things are.
Oh, yeah, especially in the first and second corner. My son PJ is like, I can't believe this. He says, I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah.
They're going through the corner and hammering on each other, and somebody's slower, like you say, somebody's not getting through the corner fast
Pump.
enough, and bang, bang,
Yeah.
double wide. And I understand the SBM this year was the best race anywhere.
Oh yeah, by far,
Yeah.
by far.
So I think we had a conflict. We were racing our midget somewhere, but I'm going to make it a point to try to get to that this next year. So they're going to be the SBM 125.
I've heard rumblings. I don't think you're going to see a 125, Star 125.
Oh no! Don't
Yeah.
say that.
That's the scuttlebutt, kind of in the modified world. We'll have to see what happens. I guess stay tuned.
Yeah.
We'll see. What are you guys hearing for rumors out there? If you guys want any questions answered, anything like that, the email
Emails.
address is right on the bottom of the screen there. Ask me, ask Bill. Anything
What
you
about
want?
Lee? I think is out as far as the open show. That one
Yeah,
didn't
I
pan out
don't.
Very good.
The other thing
Crowd
too.
wise.
The other thing too is I don't think you're going to see the Tri-Track series back. I know Jim Schaefer, the Long Island Mod Maniacs.
Yeah.
He's really working on something, and I think this is what the
Monadnock, is it?
yeah, and I think it's going to be Monadnock.
Yep.
I wish Kevin Rice would kind of take the helm here on the SBM again, but
Well, he moved down
yeah,
south.
he's
a
down.
traitor.
Yeah, he
Thanks, Kevin.
doesn't need a stove anymore. Thanks, buddy. Keep watching the Canucks.
Okay, well, this about wraps it up, and we're going to have Mike on again as soon as Dad lets him out of the shop for a half hour.
Change me up.
So thanks for joining us, and we're just going to keep talking mods, super mods. Maybe we'll get a street stock driver in here, a hobby stock.
Anything you guys want to talk about? We'll
Yeah, email
let us know.
questions to us, and Mike will prepare for the next show. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us, Mike.
no, thank you for having me.
We'll see you all next week.
Go Bolts.